Thank you. Okay. All right. So he also talks about preventing cancer, and now we're going into the metabolic approach to treating cancer. So here's that other component where he starts diving into lifestyle, repurposed drugs, and other vitamins that you can take. He has essentially a summary of on this one, and he's got 14 different medications. He says you want to aim for 10 of those, and taking 10 of these essentially would attack the cancer at all of the different pathways. I don't know if you can see this picture, but here's one for melatonin. So melatonin, he's showing essentially like all of the things that melatonin can do to target cancer. So yes, I do have my mom on melatonin. I went through with the PDF. I even highlighted ovary or ovarian just to focus myself on like what specifically in the studies that he references this particular cancer. Now, he doesn't go into the different types of ovarian cancer. I understand there's 3 different types, main types, and then a variety of subtypes. So he doesn't go into that much detail, but he does cite his sources at the end so that you can go and read. And there's 5 or 6 studies in there specifically for ovarian cancer that you can do more research on, and he cites his sources for that. So this I consider to be my Bible early on. Because of this, we then dove into lifestyle, which is keto. So we have switched all of our food to keto, essentially no carb, no sugar. So it's just meat. We have done dairy, but it's been all organic dairy. So essentially non-hormone meat, non-hormone dairy, free-range chickens. Basically, the animals need to be healthy, and they need to be fed something other than corn and garbage, which is what a lot of the animals are fed before they're killed. So keto for cancer. I found this is by Mary Kalamian. I don't know how to say that. But I found this to be rather readable. She does reference ovarian cancer as well. I started on chapter 4. Is keto right for us? So based off her chapter 4, that's why we were going between Dr. Merrick and Dr. Kalamian. That's why we went with keto. Next is the metabolic approach to cancer, and also Dr. Justice Hope's cancer, and again, another book on repurposed drugs. And this again talks about cancer is more than just, hey, you're unlucky, let's poison you until you have no more cancer. The standard conventional approach to me is just wrong. So that's why we went digging. I have not read all of these cover to cover, so full disclosure, I do want to get to them. I would like to do book reviews on them as it relates to ovarian cancer and what I think is useful or not. But just given the amount of time that we had available, I really had to target with like individual chapters or hunt and look for things that were immediately applicable. Other reading. Now, don't get upset. Again, like read a chapter, read something, but don't do nothing. And so I really liked Radical Remission. This has 2 chapters with ovarian cancer. And this ultimately is the goal. We want remission. And so much of ovarian cancer is these sad tales of like continuing recurrences and continuing chemo for the rest of your life. And again, we're capable of better. But we have to start with that vision of like, what do we want? And then how do we get there? So Radical Remission to me is a book about good news stories of like people who beat cancer. So like not all hope is lost. And this book is going to help you realize that your case is probably not lost too. Last one is How to Starve Cancer by Jay McClellan. This is another unconventional approach if you go by just whatever my mom's oncologist says. But essentially, like, you can beat cancer. You have to be smart about it. So hit it at the pathways and starve it, right? So that's if cancer feeds off glucose and sugar, right? And well, bread as a carbohydrate is converted to glucose. Lactose in milk is converted to glucose. So like, yes, you have to starve the cancer. So with that, we did go keto. I did get my mom a continuous glucose monitor, GCM. It's through keto something or other. I'll have to post what I had. But essentially what that does is that allows us to check to see that her glucose is stabilized. Now she will fast 24 hours before chemo in accordance with some of these books that talk about, like Dr. Merritt talks about fasting. Keto for Cancer talks about fasting. So my mom does a 24-hour fast before chemo. No food, just water. And then she has chemo, and she's done 1 round so far. She's had very, very few side effects. So we're going to continue with that. Okay, so I want to do honorable mention in case you've seen these books or read them, so feel free to post in comments, but healing mushrooms. So my mom is on mushrooms. We'll go through that, not shrooms. But healing mushrooms is on my to-do list of things to go through. It does, again, talk about cancer. Self-Heal by Design, that's Barbara O'Neill. She has a YouTube series that I would encourage you to check out. Of course, Crispy Cancer, again, this is another like good news stories of like, hey, someone like is in remission. I know he had surgery, but they're in remission, and that's what we want. You are the placebo, making your mind matter. I do believe cancer is a mind, body, and soul rebirth, right? The old habits that we had in this house, the old things that we cared about, like dessert and sugar and breakfast for dessert, because how much of breakfast is just carbs and sugar, right? That person needs to die, and we need a new person to be born. So I'm interested in this book so that we can get our mindset straight. And then last is Gerson Therapy. I, again, have not read this one yet, but it comes highly recommended. And it still goes on that model of nutrition to fight cancer and other illnesses. Like, use your body, give your body what it needs to fight this and win. This isn't just a sob story where you're going to be on somebody else's conveyor belt and somebody else's chemo and somebody else's, like, you are in the driver's seat. This is about you learning, and these are the books that I think are going to get your library started so that we can all get through this and live our lives. So please like or subscribe. Again, I'm not a doctor, but I am a concerned party. I'm helping my mom. She lives with me, so we are 2 peas in a pod, and so as a family, we are combating this together, and I'm helping her with the excuse me, I'm helping her with the research because there is just so much. Okay, so that's it. Thank you. Bye.